Good evening and hello. Welcome back to the Cheese Room podcast. You're here with me tonight, the caller, joining you as ever from the Man Cave. And I've got some wonderful people with me this evening. I'm joined, first of all, by Brendan McGurty. Brendan, long time no see, mate. I've missed you.
I missed you too, man. Yeah, it's been a week and a bit, maybe. But yeah, it's good to see you. It's good to be back on the videos. Hello, everyone in YouTube world.
Hello, everyone in YouTube world. And there's been lots of questions about pods coming out, Brendan. And in pod world, is there anything being recorded, or are we on an extended summer vacation?
Yeah, tomorrow we'll get the pod out. We're going to do myself, Franco, and whoever else he's lined up. So we will be podding. But I think we're probably going to eventually just be sticking these videos onto the pod as well, just because it's easier. And
there's a request there. If Brendan isn't drunk, I'm switching off. So
I am on the gin. Last time I was on the gin, we all know what happened. So
how come you fell off your chair?
I didn't fall off. I think my mic dropped or something. I just went down to get it, and it looked like I fell off.
Literally, that's the story he's sticking to. I'm saying he fell off.
It was a car crash. I'll admit to that. It was a proper car crash.
I think what I need to do is clip that and put it on Twitter for the world to see, to be honest, because I think too many people have missed out on that. But good to have you with us tonight, Bren. Drink lots of gin, and it will get more entertaining the further we go. Had a very serious-looking HG, just adjusting his camera angles there. You all right, mate? Yeah. How's it going?
I'm all right, yeah. I'm still on holiday. I can't complain. I will never complain. But, weather's good. Family's good. Spurs are looking half decent. No reason to complain whatsoever.
I mean, those are big claims there. Spurs looking half decent, big words. We'll definitely come on to that during the show. And I hear you found some exciting snacks in Vienna today. Tell us what they are.
I found Curly Whirlies. The first time I've bought them in, 10 years. So obviously I had to make sure that my daughter had her first ever Curly Whirly. Took a few photos of that to send home. But I don't love Curly Whirlies, but it's been such a long time. I was much more of a chomp guy, to be honest. Yeah. 10p for chomp. But Curly Whirlies, you can't go wrong. Yeah, British chocolate is the best.
Shannon, chocolate in the fridge or chocolate out of the fridge? That is the question.
I think it depends on the ambient room temperature. So if it's summer, it's got to go in the fridge. If it's winter, it stays in the cupboard, I think.
And how are you? How are you this evening? Thanks for joining us once again.
Yeah, I'm good. Not too bad. Obviously feeling good after yesterday. I've got my shrine. Yeah. Which is obviously a lovely thing to behold. And I'm hoping not to dribble drink over myself tonight as well. That'll be good, won't it? Just to stay dry.
Dribble drink over you last time out. I didn't even notice that. You did. Okay. What are you drinking tonight? Anything dangerous? Are you on it like Brendan?
No, just the orange and lemonade tonight. It's a school night, isn't it? So a bit boring.
They don't exist in the world of the caller. And Bob Spur, what are you drinking, mate, tonight? And can you top an orange and lemonade?
Yes, I can. Cold Ribena.
I like a cold Ribena. Actually, I'm partial to a bit of Ribena. I've got some Austrian ale, believe it or not. Again, and if you, I'm going to have a go at pronouncing it. It's Wiener beer.
Wiener beer. Okay.
I've suddenly feel really old. Someone's just asked what a curly whirly is. Cheers for that. Cheers for that. Thanks.
Where do you stand on a curly whirly, Bob?
I don't know how you can pick a chomp over a curly whirly. The sophistication in a curly whirly. You don't know where it starts, you don't know where it ends, and all that. Can dip it in milk as well. I used to anyway. Oh yeah. Curly whirly in cold milk. Try it. It's the best. There are other chocolates available in Superstore, of course.
Well, that sounds good to me. Look. Thanks for everyone for watching. There's 46 people on already. Please do drop a like. If you're watching for the first time, please do subscribe. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers before the season starts. We are so close. I think we're on 1,920 odd. So we are literally within a hair's breadth. So please do drop us a like. That helps get people watching during the show. And subscribe if you like what you see. We talk about all kinds of snacks on the Cheese Room, not just curly whirlies and chomps. So you've got so much to look forward to this evening. And obviously, Super Chats are live for the duration of the broadcast. So if there's something you've got to get off your chest, drop it on a Super Chat. And we will absolutely get to your comment on the air. And they are the ultimate way to to support the Cheese Room podcast. And by the way, get your comments in because we love comments and we will try to get to as many as we can during the show, depending on volume. So lots happened. I mean, I had the ultimate excuse to put Lionel Messi on the cover this week. Now, obviously, there were 3 teams apparently that have put a contract offering according to these are proper sources. The Guardian newspaper, I saw it on Sky Sports. Atletico Madrid, Tottenham Hotspur, and PSG. Bob, which one of those do you think he's going to pick? Surely it's his dream to play in the Tractor League.
I believe he'll come to Tottenham. I really do. I'll tell you another person who agrees with that. My fucking pet unicorn. I don't know why we're being attached to him. I have no idea. Waste of space, waste of ink. It's not going to happen. I'd love it. I can have wet dreams about it. But there's not a chance. We're all delusional Spurs fans. Of course, we can all dream, but there's a limit to even dreaming. So, no, as great as it sounds, you know, the fact we were put in the same paragraph as the words Lionel Messi is we've made it basically. But no, I don't think there's any chance of that, mate.
It's a pretty amazing rumor because I mean the Twitter went nuts the second he got released from his contract. There were mock-ups and Twitter is the worst place and the best place sometimes. Some of the comedic value on there this week has been amazing. Seeing Messi playing in the Tractor League. I saw a mock-up of him playing today for Spurs in the stadium that's got a steam train that goes through it. I thought that was absolutely wonderful. I just wonder what he'd make of that. Shannon, surely it's his dream to play in that kind of stadium, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I'm sure his dream is to play with Eric Dyer and Moussa Sissoko. You can't get much better than that, can you? Like absolute top quality ballers they are.
But he did want Romero, didn't he, at Barcelona, Bren? So maybe that's where this rumor came from. Obviously, we are a haven for Argentine players. Got great history. Ozzy Ardiles, no less, played for us. Ricky Villa. Could Messi be the next name on the list? He's only 35. He's in the pomp of his career.
Mate, come on. Seriously? The one thing from it is he has looked quite emotional recently and quite sad leaving Barcelona. So at least seeing the Tottenham rumours would have cheered him up a bit. He'd got a bit of a laugh, you know. It's not going to happen. It's hilarious that it was even down. But we're linked with every other player in Europe, so it was bound to happen. Someone say, "Oh, Messi," because Paratici got Ronaldo to Juve, so he's got form for it. Come on, he's going to PSG or staying at Barcelona. One of those two.
There's some great comments. I mean, this might be his only chance to play in the Conference League. HG, Messi was about to sign and then he realised Lamela left. There was a particularly funny one I saw this week of they love Argentinians love that tea stuff, don't they? They have special cups for it. What do you call it, Brendan?
Mate.
And what is it?
It's loads of sort of herbs. It's like a tea. It's tea and you just fill up this pot, like they call it a chimarrão in Brazil, with hot water, and it's got like a sort of a steel aluminium straw. It's horrible. I don't like it, but the RGs love it.
They do, don't they? GLC had a whole flask of it in this photo.
That's the hot water. That's the hot water. They just pour the hot water into the pot.
Well, it was a designer flask, and then Romero had this little cup that was pimped with Tottenham Hotspur logo on it. So we're even making the Argentines their own little teacups, which is a lovely touch. And then there was the ghost of Lamela behind them. I thought that was absolute genius. Whoever did that, was that someone in the cheese room? Did that?
Franco. Franco spotted that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Went quite viral.
Well, I'm not surprised, to be honest. It's bloody funny. HG, and how excited are you that we could be signing the best player on the planet?
He is the best player on the planet. He's the best player the planet's ever seen. But no, Tottenham were named basically for a joke. I don't think anyone thought that it was even going to be possible.
It was a bit like the Super League, wasn't it, really? We were only in that for a joke, surely.
Yeah.
No, hang on a second. The reason we got invited to the Super League is because we're a massive club. That's it. That's the only reason. We can bring lots of fans from all over the world. But yeah, no, Messi, Seeing him in London once was pretty cool. Seeing him play against Spurs, even though he destroyed us that night. I would have loved to see him in the Premier League, but let's face it, he's not going to play against Barcelona, and he's not going to play for Spurs. So if that leaves PSG, and I think he said in his press conference that his whole family was expecting to stay in Barcelona, and then suddenly they find out that they can't, and they all have to move. It's just a bit crazy. If you're going to do that, then Paris might be the next best option, especially if they're going to pay you, 40 million a year or something stupid like that. So, it's lovely to dream. I'd like to see him come for a testimonial. I'd watch that, but Messi at Spurs, no, it's not going to happen.
It would be a wonderful thing, but I think the only way we're going to see him at Spurs is if we somehow get back to the Champions League and watch him destroy us once again. I mean, I was at that game, as I'm not sure if any of you guys were. Were you there, Bob?
No, I wasn't, mate. Not for that one.
I've got to be honest, that's the only time in my life I've been happy to watch Spurs get systematically taken to pieces, because it was just a masterclass, and you could just stand there and sort of with your mouth open and laugh because he was just so good. I mean, the privilege of my footballing life really to watch that game, because it's not often you get a Messi masterclass, and that was just Messi. He's absolute best, unbelievable player. Sadly, I think we've squashed that rumor. Go on, Bob.
Just want to say, what Brendan's saying, looks downtrodden, sad, depressed, and he's crying. Maybe Spurs is an ideal fit for him.
Yeah, it could be. Maybe. It could be good therapy for the guy,
That's it,
speaking of downtrodden, upset, and crying a lot, what's going on this week with Harry Kane, Shannon? What's he been up to, do you think?
Well, he's been isolating, hasn't he, after his lovely trip to Florida that he wasn't supposed to go on. Yeah, I mean, I've seen the rumours that he might sign a new contract if he doesn't go to City, which will obviously include a release clause, because Charlie Kane has obviously learned how to do a proper contract after seeing Jack Grealish go to City. So, yeah, we'll see what goes on there. But I'll be surprised if he plays. I know Nuno said he's available for selection on Sunday, but I'd be surprised if he plays.
Yeah. What do the rest of you think? I'm just going to spin around the room quickly. Bren, do you think it's likely that Kane's going to play on Sunday? I mean, it's not looked likely up to this point, but Nuno's saying he's available. So,
yeah, he hasn't trained yet. He's been training on his own because of the isolation. So many rumours going around about the contract, and because he was in the Bahamas before he went to Florida. That's right? Yeah. That's where Joe Lewis is. So I don't know, it would be maybe awkward if they were passing each other on the beach and we oh shit, it's Joe. But maybe there is a reason he was in the Bahamas. Maybe there was some kind of contract discussion. Again, it's so up in the air. But I can't see him being ready for City. I'm going to the game, as you know, so I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Yeah. But it's too soon. He's going to be rusty. He was already rusty at the Euros, so I can't see him playing against City. But then, does that mean we play Son up top? It's going to be weird.
Brendan, where are you sitting for that game? I can't remember. It's great that you're at the game, by the way. Really good that you managed to get to 2 games, I think, while you're over in the country, isn't it?
No, just this one. No, I think
just this one.
Yeah, thanks to Rachel from the Supporters Trust. She's hooked me up with the tickets. I'll be sitting with her, and she's a head teacher, so I can't swear. So I was thinking,
we love Rachel.
I'm just going to swear in Portuguese because she'll like that because she's quite linguistic, Rachel. So I'm just going to swear in Portuguese and deal with it that way. So I'm in the corner, basically. I think west, between west and south in the corner. Yeah. I think that's it. And like 11 rows from the front. So quite near. She said we get loads of goal celebrations in that part of the pitch. So
yeah, you would. Yeah. Let's hope there's some Tottenham goals to celebrate. but yeah, absolutely. That's a great seat. I'm all the way in the north, so I'll absolutely come and see. And Rachel's one of my favourite, people. She's brilliant on the trust and does a fantastic job. So it'd be good to catch up with her as well. Where was I talking? HG, Harry Kane. Apparently this new contract it's come out and been mooted today. Do you think that's likely to be the case? Because from a Spurs perspective, why would we then sign a contract with a minimum release clause in when he's got 2 years left without one. Just doesn't add up to me.
It'll be a number that we don't think that anyone would pay. Let's face it. Next summer, Haaland will be available, Mbappe will probably be available, and Kane's third choice. Are you going to spend 150, 200 million on Harry Kane at 29? I imagine that's what Spurs would be thinking. If I'm Harry Kane, there's no way I'm signing a new contract. Like, even with release clauses, like, again, you're tying yourself in, because if no one pays that amount, then you're stuck again. It's a weird one. I'd be surprised if they sign a new deal. Maybe he gets an extra 50 grand, an extra 100 grand a week from Spurs out of it, because he easily could. But if his dream is to win stuff, let's face it, he probably needs to get away from Spurs. Like, with or without him, we haven't won much for the last 30 years. So
maybe it's the problem.
Yeah.
I definitely don't think he was the problem. But it's an odd one. Like he's got himself in this corner. Is he willing to take a bit more money? Because no doubt that whatever the contract is, it'll be an extension. It won't just be you'll get another 2 years or the same 2 years on better terms. Yeah. I guess maybe he's hedging his bets a little bit. But we all know from a financial perspective, City will end up paying him 400, 500 grand a week if he ever actually does go there.
Yeah.
But I think that the concern, or what Spurs are thinking, is that next summer no one will be willing to pay that kind of money.
Bob,
and again,
do you think that's likely? Sorry, it's you.
That's all right.
Bob, do you think that's likely?
I think, and this is probably the most leave he'll ever get out from me. He's played his cards well on Harry Kane. He's at the Kane camp. Make all the noise.
I just want to touch on one thing there. So, people have got very strong views on Levy, including yourself, including me. I read somewhere today, I was listening to another podcast, actually. It's very good. Same old Spurs. Check it out. If you get really good. Big up, Madge. And they were sort of saying on there, Daniel Levy, lots of flack and all the rest of it. But if there is one person you would want as a chairman in this situation, it's Daniel Levy. Yeah, that's fair?
Yeah. We want the avatar that's kept Modric for another year, didn't we? We'll put a foot down with Bale. Obviously, we held out for last minute with Berbatov, but eventually went, I know. But with Harry Kane, it's this camp who's made all the noise, and Levy and Lenik, as I like to call him, have just sat back and let him make all the noise. And now he's in the corner. Whereas if he signs a contract and stays, people will be saying he's only staying for the money. And if he goes, he's acting like a sport brat, and he's got his move. So unfortunately, it's going to take a bit of time for if Kane does stay, and I hope he will, and I do believe he will. I actually believe, and I've said this, as you know, I've said it in the group chat many times, Kane is staying, and I do believe he's staying. But there's whereas before he had an impeccable view amongst our fan base and never questioned his commitment. Now there's, unfortunately, there are a number of the fan base who will question it until he starts banging in hat tricks left, right, and centre. We're fickle. We're fans. We're fickle. So I'm sure once he's banging the goals, all will be forgotten. It will be the legend of the lane again.
90-something people watching, please do smash a like. Please do like and hit that subscribe button. We've got to get to 2,000 before the season starts. I'm really excited about that. Kane, I'm not going to dwell on it too much. I didn't really get around the room properly, so I'm going to go really quickly around the room. Does he start on Sunday? A quick yes or no, Brent?
No.
HG?
No, he won't start, but he'll be on the bench.
Shannon?
No.
Bob?
Bench and come on and score the winner within the last minute.
Oh, well, nice. And then kisses the badge.
Kisses the badge. I tell everyone to piss off.
Kisses the badge, does the old, in front of Pep. Just literally slides on his knees to Pep and puts the lips in the mouth.
On the subject, sorry to jump in. On the subject of Pep, I do think he was pretty out of order in talking 100%. About Kane really openly in the press conference. Yeah. Of course, we know that they want him, but there is an etiquette. There are morals, I guess, in how you should conduct yourself. It was almost Trumpian. It was sort of just doing the dirty, so out in the open. And they put it on their Twitter feed as well. They put all the quotes. I've never seen that from a club before. We would never do that. We'd never sort of put quotes from about a different player from a different club. That was really odd.
Fine. Harry can't read. It's not an issue. We're more worried about the fact that people might repeat that on Sky Sports News. Obviously, that's an issue. Few comments coming in. Elena, massive supporter of the show. Thanks for watching again. If he gets rewarded for this farcical situation with a new and improved contract, then that says it all about modern football. Frankly, embarrassing. Do you agree with that, Bob?
No, he deserves it. He's the best player in the league. He's the best player we've got. He's one of the best strikers in the world. If anyone deserves a better contract, it's him. The way he's gone about it, totally out of order. Do not condone that 1 minute. And I've always said that. But like it or not, he's our best player. We're a better team with him in our team than without it. So, I want to keep the best player, best striker in the world. And if it means paying him a bit more, then so be it. We need to be able to differentiate and separate the two issues.
Yeah.
In my opinion, yeah.
Ian says, hi Ian, shout out, mate. Pep's a sport brat that is moaning because he has only nearly spent £1 billion. Shannon, what do we say about that blatant Pep tapping up that Brendan brought up? I mean, it was just, it was disgusting, wasn't it? A good point. I think Nuno shows a lot of class in his press conferences. One thing I've got to say, I'm very impressed with Nuno. And he was asked this week about, I think, was it about Martinez? The Martinez transfer, and he said, I don't speak about other teams' players. And that was it. That was all Pep had to say, wasn't it? Why be a knob?
But the key word there, caller, is class. Manchester City and class don't go in the same sentence. If they had class, they wouldn't try and buy the league and buy every trophy there is available. It's just, what do we really expect from Manchester City when they think they can do and say as they want? Because they get away with it. Financial fair play. They get away with it every single time.
Yeah.
So why are we surprised? I was watching that interview live and I was absolutely fuming with the stuff that he came out with. And let's be honest, Nuno has got 10 times the class that Pep has. And let's be honest, would Pep be able to do what he's done with City with Spurs? Probably not. He's bought success, and it's completely different.
I mean, Nuno's got 10 times the beard as well. I'm just going to put that out there. It's a far stronger look on Nuno than Pep. It's a good, as the owner of a very strong beard, Bob, you've got to admire that beard.
Mate, it's
he's gone for your look, actually.
Sorry?
He's gone for your look, actually.
Yeah, he has. He did ring me up and he asked me if I was copyrighted. I said, don't go for it, Nuno. So, no, it's all good. He's not paying any image rights, fortunately for him.
It is a strong beard. It is a strong beard. And Shannon, I'm really glad you brought all those points up. I'll let you into a little secret and the people watching tonight. I've invited a Manchester City pundit onto the show Friday for our match preview. So you'll be able to put those points very eloquently to them at the time.
On,
look forward to it.
Fight. So that's great. So we'll leave Mr. Kane there. I'm going to put it out there that I think he's going to surprisingly play Sunday, just to be contrary to all you guys. I think he's training on his own. I can see him starting. I really can. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he's just thrown into the team. One player I want to talk about pre-season that won't be thrown into the team, I'm pretty sure, is Tanguy Ndombele. We've not seen him yet play any minutes whatsoever, like none pre-season. HG, what do you make of all this? I mean, the guy cost 60 million quid or more. He's on £200,000 a week. He was unfit under Mourinho the first season. Then the second season, fair enough, he got him playing a bit. In fact, he played a lot of games last season, but tailed off towards the end. Mason wasn't a fan by the look of it. I mean, what he knows, I don't know, but there you go. And now it doesn't seem like Nuno rates him because he's just not played him. I read today that he was fit for selection against Arsenal, but not selected. So what do you make of all this? We need Tanguy to have a good season, don't we? I mean, he would be key for us, surely.
Well, I don't think he's key. I mean, we'd like him to be playing well. We'd like him to be part of the squad. We'd like him when he is playing well. He probably plays in every game or almost every game. He's that good on his day. But yeah, look, if Nuno sees these things that maybe similar to how Mourinho saw things. Mourinho didn't love him, that first season especially. So it's a weird one because, we're talking about, obviously he's just become a dad and this, that, and the other, and like there's a good chance I would think that maybe the mother of his child doesn't live in the UK, and so maybe his mind isn't there. I mean, I'm speculating. I don't know if that's the case, but maybe that's one of the reasons too. But Ndombele would be decent trade bait if we wanted to get someone in later on. It seems to be a half and half situation. Like we'd all like him to stay if he's going to perform, but if he's not going to be part of Nuno's plans, and we get other midfield options in, because it's not as if we can survive without him. I mean, he's like, if we're going to keep Winks and Sissoko because we're selling Ndombele, then I think we'd all rather keep Ndombele for 10 or 15 games a season. Yeah. So it's about how we can use the value that he has. The price tag he had no control over. The money that he earns, Spurs were willing to pay it. You might have to look back at the people who made that deal happen and find out what it was that they were trying to think. Why were Lyon relatively happy to see him go? I don't know, but it's a strange one because we all know the talent he has. We all know what he can do, and when you're not given the chance, then it is really rough to kind of see a way forward.
Mm. Craig here says he's had 2 seasons and all he's shown is potential. Poch, Mason, Jose and Nuno, it's not the managers, it's definitely the player. I mean, I'll just caveat that because Poch didn't have him for very long at all. Mason's not qualified to give an opinion as far as I'm concerned. So it's really down to Jose and now Nuno. And that's why I was hoping he could make something of him, really, if I'm honest, because, I said it on the previous show. The average starting position for Harry Kane was on the edge of his penalty area. And the same's true for Ndombele. Ndombele is effective in the final third. So you can't really judge the guy on what he's produced on the pitch under Mourinho. And that's why I really wanted to see what he can do for Nuno. But HG, do you think all the criticisms of I mean, I can see it coming on the chat. There aren't many defenders of Tongi. In fact, no, I'm not going to ask you. I'm going to ask Shannon.
I think the key word here is attitude. Nuno keeps saying he wants his players to be better, faster, stronger, have the correct attitude. And Ndombele doesn't really fit any of those. He's not fit, he's not fast, and he doesn't have, from what I've seen, the best attitude. So I think that's potentially why we're not seeing him in Nuno's plans. I don't think he has the correct attitude, and he's not fit enough to play how Nuno wants to play. He normally only lasts sort of 60, 70 minutes in a game, and that's not what Nuno wants. He wants players that fight, and Ndombele isn't one of those. So he's a talent and he's got a lot of natural ability, but when it comes to fight and attitude and wanting to like go into one-on-ones, he's just not that guy, is he? So I think that's one of his biggest problems with Nuno.
Do you agree with that, Bob? Do you think that's fair?
Yeah, waste of talent, waste of money, unfortunately. I've been one of his biggest advocates. I've loved him. Like I said, I've seen him do stuff with the football that I only saw Gaza do. I honestly mean that. If he gets his head right, gets his belly right, he could be the best midfielder in the world. I really do. I think he pisses all over Paul Pogba with the talent that he's potentially got. But I don't know if I want a player who takes 6 weeks not to be fit enough to be even in a friendly squad. Never mind a sub, never mind starting up. But to be nowhere near the squad, there's obviously something not right there. Yes, he's had a baby, or his partner's had a baby. But even if it's taken 3 or 4 days out of his regime, he shouldn't be in a position where he's not that fit to even be included in on the subs bench. So, unfortunately, it does look like it's going to be hard for him to come back. But if we sell him now, we're going to sell him at a loss anyway. We sell him now, we'll sell him in Jan for a bigger loss. I just hope he manages to show something that he can get back into the team. But if he gets back in, mate, he's going to have to fight tooth and nail, literally, on the pitch to keep his place, because he's nowhere near it at the moment. Nowhere near it.
Well, ding, 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 ding. Ring the bell. Paul Muir has dropped us a super chat. Thanks very much, Paul. We really appreciate your support. And a question to all of you. I'm going to ask all 4 of you as it's a super chat. does Rodon figure as a starting centre-back this season, especially after a good Euros? And then I'll come back to my view last when I see where the land lies. Brendan, go to you first, mate.
Paul's right. He did have a good Euros. Hi, Paul. Good to see you, mate. And it's weird. None of the managers have really fancied him. He does look like he's got those sort of raw, everything that Tongi doesn't have, that determination, that grit, that putting your body on the line, which Tongi would never do. But it's odd. There's something. There must be something in training that the managers are seeing that we're not. Because when he's played, he's not really put a foot wrong. He's not stood out. But I think that's a sign of a good defender, is when they just get about with their business. So I'd as a starter, it depends who we sign. Obviously, Romero is going to be the main starter. So it's going to be Romero +1 or +2 if we go 3 or 4 at the back. So I'd like to see him. I mean, I don't understand what the managers aren't seeing with him. He's not really made any mistakes that we see day in, day out with the likes of Sanchez and Dyer. And he did have a really good Euros. And it was part of a really good squad where they were fighting for each other. So he's that sort of player. And I think that's the sort of spirit that Nuno wants to bring. That's with Wolves. You knew with Wolves, you get a game. Irrespective of the talent they have out there, they will put everything, they will leave everything out there on the pitch. And that's, I think, what Rodon does. So as a starter, I'd like to say yes, but I just don't know what the managers aren't seeing.
Okay. We're losing you a bit there, Brent, at the end.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I've got the same question to you, HG.
It's a similar answer. That Romero's been signed. I suspect we're going to sign one more. If we play a back four, like it looks like we might, Rodon's not a starting CV. He'll get his games in the Conference League, I'm sure. But it's tough because he hasn't really been given a chance at Spurs. But the way things are going, it doesn't look like he's going to get one to be a starter this season either. At least not from the beginning. I think it all depends on who signs and who goes. But at best he's looking third choice for the season, because if Dyer stays, he's probably behind him too. So it doesn't look great for Rodon to be a starting CV this year.
Okay, Shannon.
I think it depends what formation Nuno plays. But like the others have said, if we play in a back four, I don't see him starting in the league. I also think Dyer is ahead of him, and Sanchez also had a very good Copa America as well. So he could potentially, if no one buys him, he could potentially play as well. He was good yesterday. I know we'll talk about that later, but he was almost Alderweireld-esque with some of the balls he was playing. So he could potentially big shout, but he could potentially play his way into Nuno's plans as well. And I think Nuno must be seeing something to not be giving him any minutes in pre-season. He was back at the same time as Ben Davies, and Ben Davies has played, so there must be something going on there.
That's a good point. Yeah, he was back at the same time as Ben. Bob, what's your thoughts, mate?
I like him. I think there's potential there. He reminds me of a John Stones. I know what you're saying, Brendan. He hasn't made that many mistakes, but there are a couple that do stand out for me. The pass back in his first game against Chelsea, the ball that went over his head for Liverpool to get their first goal. So there is a mistake in him, but I do think you can get that out of him. He's not young, as we've got to remember. He's 24, going to be 25 this year. But unfortunately, it's going to be Romero and Dyer. That's going to be the first choice, I reckon. In a back four, it's evident that Nuno's going to go down the back four route. I think Tommy Arsu, if he comes in, we have been, I think we've been after him for 18 years, is it? Something like that. That's what it feels like. So I think eventually he will come in and he'll slide into right back, I believe. But it's going to be Dyer and Romero by the looks of it. But Rodon, I wouldn't send him out on loan. I wouldn't. He'd definitely be on the subs bench every single time as a back, as a just in case centre back. I do like him. I think he'll be great. But right now he's like he reminds me of a raw John Stones. And look at where he is now. I
think if Romero's as good as everyone says he is, and I know you spoke to Sandro this week, didn't you, Brendan? Got his thoughts on him.
I did. Yeah. The thing is, he was busy because his team played Porto last night. They lost 2-0. He didn't make the squad, so he must be injured.
He's not that busy then.
Sorry?
He's not that busy then, is he?
Well, anyway, But yeah, as HG pointed out, Sandro played with Romero at Genoa. So I just sent a message, we've noticed that you played with Romero. Is he a good signing? And yeah, his response was, he's an excellent signing. He does remember playing with him. And yes, it's going to be a tough run-in for his team because they've got Sporting Lisbon the week after next as well. So, but yeah, that's the word from a former Spurs legend that played with Romero a couple of years ago. So,
assuming and these are the contacts we have on the cheese room. You don't get this anywhere else, do you? Amazing player from all accounts. So I just think he's going to probably elevate people around him. And I hope he has the transformative effect on our defence that Virgil van Dijk had when Liverpool signed him, because all of a sudden the players around him looked better just because he's a great communicator and really dominates that back line. I think Romero could do that for us. Where Rodon fits into that, I think Rodon could learn absolutely tons from him. What I see in Rodon, there's loads of really good raw attributes there, but he's not the finished article. I want to see him on the left-hand side of a three, and it scares me because if Romero's playing the right centre-back and Dyer's on the left centre-back, Dyer doesn't possess a left foot. So I do think that, for me, longer term, I would rather see Rodon in there, but I don't think he's going to be starting the season, and I think he's got to play his way into contention. So I hope that answers the question, Paul. Lots of other stuff. Oh yeah, of course. David House, Brendan and Sandra, they're doing a Hello Magazine bromance and just spread next week. Followed by Brendro.
That's a good one.
My son is called Brenginho. Like, it's my son's called. I called my son Brendan as well, naming him after my dad, who's a Brendan as well. So Brenginho is the one, but Brendro's, I like that as well. I'll send it to
Sandan.
Sandan.
Top of the morning to you, Brandon. Top of the morning. So let's talk transfers. There's lots of good rumours out there apart from Messi. By the way, Messi's contract, 25 mil a season. Can you believe that, Shannon? I mean, 25 mil. That's pocket change to leave, isn't it?
You're having a laugh, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
He's never spending that much on one player, is he? It don't matter if it's Messi or not. He's just not going to do it. And I think it would upset. You think of the people it would upset that are already at Spurs now. They'll be like, "Where's my pay rise?" I think Son's only on just over 200,000 a week.
Yeah.
So
192, I think.
Yeah.
Like that, yeah.
Sonny, you've had your pay rise. Crack on, lad.
Yeah.
Right, Sissoko. I've seen it today. I mean, like, literally, I didn't get this excited since Harry Winks was linked with the exit door. Sissoko, apparently, we're in talks with AC Milan. Have Milan called to exit Moussa Sissoko there? Bob, are you excited about this one?
Kleenex are out, mate. Definitely. If he...
Tears, obviously.
Brendan's gone. No, he's one of the so-called, I don't like to call him Deadwood, the lot who we need to move out, and he'll free up a large chunk of the wages as well. So get him out. Accept whatever they give. Unfortunately, Levy being Levy, I'm sure he'll fight for every penny. He's been linked to a couple of players. That's what worries me. Just like we've been linked to so many players that are coming in, only a few of them have come off, or two of them have come off. So we hope it's true, and au revoir.
Au revoir. Au revoir indeed. Shannon, you've got to be happy to see the back of Moussa, haven't you?
Do you know what? On Twitter, someone called me disrespectful earlier for being happy, for praying that Moussa was going to go. And I'm just so, do you know what is disrespectful? Is upsetting the changing room, because him and Serge and Ndombele probably were definitely up to something last season. The amount of times he came on and we'd concede a late goal, that's disrespectful. And also the fact we shouldn't have signed him in the first place because he's shit. That's disrespectful. So anyone can call me out on Twitter and say I'm disrespectful for wanting Moussa Sissoko gone, but everyone knows my opinion on him by now, and I can't wait to see the back of him. So off your pop. See you later. Drive you there myself.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Piggyback all the way.
Yeah.
HG, defend him. Go on, defend him. You know you want to.
Well, he can't defend, so why should I? The thing with Sissoko, and this is where we're going, like any team he's linked to, let's face it, are they real in the climate we have, are they really going to take on his wages? I don't think so. Like you may Middle East, perhaps, like if you get someone to do what they did with Toby, then fair enough. But AC Milan probably don't have the money to take on his wages. And so even if they were willing to do that, they're not going to be signing him permanently. So I think there's a fair chance that if Sissoko does go and stays within Europe, it'll only be on loan. I don't think anyone's going to sign him unless it's a Middle Eastern club. So look, Sissoko, again, doesn't really have a future at Spurs, shouldn't really have a future at Spurs. I think the nicest thing I can say is that he has at least tried for the last 5 seasons. But yeah, he's tried my patience as well, and it's time. It is time for poor old Musa. I mean, like again, next week's his birthday. We'll have this conversation again on his birthday next week. 32. It is time for you, Musa. You've done well out of Spurs. Please help
You've been
us out.
stealing a living for 4 years or longer.
5 years, mate.
Brent,
How has he been here for 5 years? That is criminal. What are we doing? That is just disgusting. That's worse than Lamella being here as long as he was. Honestly.
Yeah.
Well, it is, because at least Lamella provided us with entertainment. Sissoko just cost us games. You know,
lots of them, as much to the Champions League final, like of all of. Don't
what about? Do you remember? Do you remember Sissoko's best moment?
Was it the volley?
No, I don't have one, mate.
Because there isn't one.
Yeah, no, there was a volley. I was at the game, and it was like, I don't know. I can't remember who it was against. Was it about 2 years ago?
When he in the air volley, wasn't it?
Flying volley on the angle, and you were like, "That's going very set when he hit it." It went straight to goal. I was amazed. Yeah, absolutely amazed. Brendan, I've asked everyone else, so I may as well ask you: are you going to be happy to see Sissoko gone? And do you think this will happen?
I'd be very happy to see him gone. He had like one half decent season, and the bar was so low that just him running around a bit was everyone's like, yeah, my God, he's player of the season. Like, and that was under Poch. And then when Poch went, he just sort of the performances started to drop, the commitment started to drop.
We've got our old Sissoko back, yeah.
Yeah, we got it back. And Shannon's right. Like Ashley did us right up there without lube. Like 30 million, and even if it was divided like 5 million a year over 6 years, well, who cares? It's still 30 million for Moussa Sissoko. Like and he's had one decent season. So yeah, be very happy if he goes to Milan. It's amazing. It's almost Danny Rose-esque. It is almost Danny Rose-esque. The way like, really? Well,
30 million 5 years ago as well, Brent.
Exactly.
That's 50 now.
Daniel Levy got his pants pulled down by Newcastle there, didn't he? Literally, like of all the guys, you just wouldn't expect Levy to do something that stupid.
Exactly.
What on earth?
And again,
Levy bought him. Levy bought him up.
Signing, wasn't it?
Apparently, no, it was a Levy signing. It absolutely was. I read at the time that Levy signed him because he turned up for Newcastle, and apparently he played really, really well. And Sissoko had the game of his life against us, and Levy was like, I'm going to buy him. And then like 6 months later or whatever, the opportunity came along and he thought he was doing us. That's how bad Daniel Levy's football knowledge actually is.
Last game of the season, wasn't it? I think it was. Which one was it? Which one? 5-1,
yeah. That's how bad his football knowledge is that he did that. Let's talk some more realistic signings than Messi. Vlahovic. Have I said that right, HG, for a change?
It's close enough.
I had some coaching from Shannon pre-show, you see, so that's the reason why. Bob, do you think you? It's fair to say you can be quite cynical occasionally. Do you think this one's got any legs?
If we're going in for Ramirez, I don't think we'll go for the Fiorentina striker. I don't know how to say his name.
Do you think we're going to for Martinez? Do you think we're going to get Martinez?
Yeah. I think his wages. He's on 47 at the moment, or 40 something like that. We can double it. We can treble it and still
quadruple it
and still feel comfortable. Yeah. So I think it's too good an opportunity to miss. And the rumours are, and you know what I'm like, rumours, TT, yes, HTS. He wants to come to Tottenham as well. As apparently told his agent, he wants to come to Spurs, and it looks like Inter Milan are getting a few strikers in as well, Dzeko and somebody else. I can't remember the name. So yeah, there's every chance. And if I had a choice with Kane staying, which I do believe is going to happen, I think Ramirez is more of a better striker if we do ever play that two up front than the Fiorentina striker.
Martinez. You said Ramirez twice.
Sorry, yeah, Martinez. Sorry, mate.
It's all right, Bren. You tell me all about Martinez. What's the crack here?
It stinks of Dybala to me. It just looks like very convenient, and the Lukaku deal just spoiled it. It just looks like a very sort of Levy story where we did everything we could, we tried, but Lukaku went to Chelsea, it scuppered it. I can't see Martinez coming. Vlahovic, depends how desperate Fiorentina are for money. They've got 15 million, I think, from West Ham for Milenkovic. Is it Milenkovic, the defender? So they may not need to cash in. Would it be a step up for him in the state of things now as well? So yeah, Martinez, I can't see that happening. It looks like bluster. Looks just like our regular sort of strategy. Vlahovic would be great. He looks quality. Again, I'm talking from YouTube clips, but he does look a solid striker, not too old. He can lead the line, really good technique. So out of those two, I would say Vlahovic is probably more likely, especially if Lukaku does go to Chelsea, because there's no way Inter will sell both.
Shannon, Brendan is really cynical about that, isn't he?
Yeah, but I'm probably not going to be much better here, because just before we came on, I saw a rumour that Arsenal are beating us to Vlahovic. And if that happens, could you imagine? That would just be what I said it the other day, but I don't understand why anyone would go to Arsenal ahead of us. But if we are in talks with him, which apparently we are, Sky Sports seem to think we are, then I'd like to think that we have more of a pull than Arsenal at the moment. But yeah, not by much, Bob. Like the bar isn't, it's not too far apart, but it's just slightly further. Get like at the minute, but yeah, if we miss out on both of them, and Kane goes, it's an absolute disaster. But I don't think he will go now. I think.
Kane's locked in. He's there, isn't he? The people who signed the number 10, who bought a number 10 shirt, Kane on the back this season, you're safe. You're right. You could go back on the street now, really. I think, well, certainly after next week, you'll be able to, wearing that shirt and not being mugged off. So don't worry about that. Shannon, you didn't film with hope there, I'm afraid. So I'm going to go to, the person who inspires me the most, HG. Vlahovic, Martinez, do you think it's certain that we get one of them? Because, they're both very strongly linked. We've clearly got to sign a striker. Or do you think it's going to end up and we're going to just, end up re-signing? Who was that Brazilian chap we had last year? What's his name?
You genuinely don't remember his name?
Genuinely, I'm having a mental fog. I know he's playing in the Portuguese league.
Vinicius.
Carlos Vinicius. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe I just erased it from my memory.
Look, you threw in the word certain. And no, look, I'm not certain. But the thing with Lautaro Martinez is that he's at that point where, he's 2 years left on his deal. He's only on 40K a week. He might push. He might push. And he's got his mates now at Spurs as well with Romero and Lo Celso. So you never know. Look, I would find it strange that Inter would sell both their strikers. I saw a comment, I think, from one of our watchers saying that the reliable journalists have said that he's not going because Lukaku is left. Those reliable journalists, the very same ones, said the same, that Lukaku wasn't going. Yeah. There are various rumours that these Italian journalists are helping the Italian clubs get full price. Which I can totally believe. So I just think it's funny that if Martinez wants to go, which he could easily want to go, we will pay more than the 40 grand a week he's on. Why not Spurs? He might have other options, but I don't think those options are going to be obviously any better than Spurs. I really don't. And we do have the added advantage of having his mates there. I think we are going to become a little bit of an Argentinian enclave. And if you think about what's happened over the last 10 years, we were Croatia originally with Choluka and Kranjčar and Modric, and then we went to Belgium, and now it looks like Argentina. Like there's a kind of, we're going up in the world, aren't we? To get to these countries that are perhaps, you know,
down.
I wouldn't say
between
down.
Belgium and Argentina,
down.
Wales, wasn't it?
Argentina's south of the world. Sorry.
Yeah, well, clearly I wasn't talking about geography, was I, Brendan?
In between Belgium and Argentina, we did have Wales.
Yeah, and look where we are now. So, do you know what I mean? Like, look where we are now. Yeah, like I think Martinez could happen. Well, there you go. Fenerbahce.
Someone sign him, please.
Surely that's
him can take him.
Sure,
honestly.
Paul, I know you're watching. Can you find out, Paul? Is that a loan deal? Because I just don't see him going permanently anywhere within Europe. But the Martinez, Vlahovic depends on Kane. Frankly, like if Kane goes, then Vlahovic comes, because Vlahovic will see Spurs as being a chance we will play. Vlahovic coming here when Kane is still here, it's not going to happen. So that's where I see it. But Martinez, I think, has legs. I really do.
Yeah,
I hope so. You don't want to pay £70 million for a person with
no
legs, are you?
I will say this. Oh, yeah, the Spanish football player with no legs. What's his name? Gracias. Come on now. Don't you know your bad Christmas jokes? Deary me. It is a bad joke. Absolutely. It's going to be a strange one, but I do think that Martinez could happen. I really do.
Well, I just hope one of them happens. If I'm being really honest, I don't know either of them that well. It will surprise you to know. I just want one of them to sign.
I do one thing. I watched Martinez play once, right? Because he played for Inter Milan against Rapid Vienna in some European competition. I think it was his first season at Inter, and that night he was rubbish. He was absolutely rubbish. I remember thinking, wow, Inter have signed a dud here. And then since then, he's obviously done really well. Probably playing alongside Lukaku has helped him. So
he's got on FIFA.
Maybe there's something in it. If he plays with Kane, it could work. But again, if he plays with Vlahovic, it could work. But with that, on himself, no. It's a tough one.
I've got to say, the one thing I would say is I trust Paratici to make the right decisions. I really do. I think this window has been quality so far. He's cleared some deadwood. He's trying to clear more deadwood. I'm sorry if you don't like that phrase, Bob, but I'm going to bang it in there anyway. And he's trying to really get the average age of the squad down. Well, look at it. The players he's signed. That keeper looks really good. I mean, he's had plenty to do in pre-season, but he's looked good to me. I think looks a player. You see that guy playing for Spain? He smashed one against the bar the other day. Rocket, absolutely. From miles outside the area, he looks a good pick.
Wanyama hit the bar a few times as well. I don't know.
So did Delhi yesterday.
So did Delhi, yeah.
Well, we'll come to that in a minute, Shannon. We'll come to all in good time. And obviously he's got Romero over the line, which is possibly the biggest deal in Spurs history in the last couple of years, because that's a far better signing than Ndembele, surely.
The biggest deal in Spurs history in the last couple of years.
Recent history. Since I slept. Right, let's talk Tottenham. Shannon, let's talk Tottenham Arsenal. So, show of hands, who saw any of the Tottenham Arsenal game?
Yeah, I saw all of it. Yeah.
Oh, good. We're all qualified to talk on it then. Shannon, do you want to kick off? So, what did you make of it? To me, I thought we were pretty dominant that game, really. On the whole, hit the woodwork 3 times, was it?
Delhi, every single time. But yeah, no, I thought we started off bright, keeping the ball, dictating the game. We tailed off towards the end of the first half, and Arsenal did get a bit of possession. But then in the second half, they didn't turn up. We should have had 3-4 against them yesterday. We were really unlucky. Sonny again, I think, missed a couple. So yeah, Delhi obviously missed 3 sitters. I don't understand how he missed that many times from as close as he did, but hopefully he can start to convert some of those as the season goes on, as he gets more confidence and has a run of games.
Yeah.
Delhi played I do think Delhi played really well. It's his best game in pre-season so far, and I do think he just needs a bit of a run of games to get to build on his form. And get back to the Delhi that we all knew and loved. I say that in past tense because obviously
it's been a while.
It's been a while. So yeah, I've just seen a really funny comment. Can't take much from the game as it's against such poor opposition, which is which is true. That is very true. But no, it's always good to beat them, isn't it? They've still not beaten us in the new stadium. Obviously, Højbjerg, the man in my own heart. Obviously, my shrine.
Is he your crush? Is he, by the way?
Yeah.
My crush as well. Fucking hell.
Have you seen him? Højbjerg is just a fine specimen of a man, let's be honest. And then he hasn't done himself any harm by squaring up to Arteta either, which was just the best thing ever. I mean, like I say, with Lamela gone, we need people to fill in with these moments. I thought it was going to be Reguilon. I thought Reguilon has a bit of that about him, but if Højbjerg is going to get in on it as well, then makes it even better. And he the way he spoke after the game as well was just, I think once Lloris goes, I think he's going to be Spurs captain. I really do.
Yeah. I think you're right, Shannon. Bob, Delhi, as Shannon's pointed out, hit the post a couple of times. Isn't what's really refreshing the fact he's getting into those positions to hit the post? So
yeah, I think you have to wait up, don't you? Do we give him stick for missing the chances, or praise him for getting into the positions? Because prior to yesterday, he was playing really, really deep. I thought it was a 1-0 thrashing, mate. If I'm honest with you, we 1-0 flattered Arsenal completely. There was talk of Stel on Tottenham Way did a very in-depth analysis of the game, how we were apparently defensive. I thought I disagree. I think we played with the front foot. Hence the reason why I do believe Martinez can play on his own, because we need legs. It was hard to see how Harry Kane would fit into the system if we played that way yesterday, because he doesn't have the press that a Lucas and a Bergwijn and Sonny give us, and an Ali to an extent. But yeah, yesterday we were playing against a shit team, let's be honest. The best thing about yesterday, apart from Sonny's goal though, and I put a tweet out, big up to all the Spurs fans who clapped on Saka. Wicked. It made me feel so proud. It was absolutely brilliant. And the fact he acknowledged it as well, big up to Saka as well, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. But all in all, we wanted to see progression within the friendlies. We've seen that. We were okay against the two lower league teams. We came back against Chelsea and against Arsenal. We were much, much the better team. And like I say, 1-0 flattered Arsenal. And we should have won it by a country mile. We should have won it minimum by 3-0. But Dele Alli, slowly but surely, coming back to his usual self. Fingers crossed, hopefully.
Just going to ask you, Brenner. I'm just going to pop off for a minute. What were your takeaways from that game? Do you think it was as Bob's described, a 1-0 thrashing? I suppose as a side thing, how refreshing is it to see Dele getting into that space to make chances?
Yeah, I think I'm going to echo Philambros here in the comments. I feel when he does bring up previous pre-seasons when we smashed Roma 5-0 and then subsequently got 2 points from 8's game. I'm sure I've heard that somewhere before. I just can't remember who kept saying it. But yeah, like it's pre-season. I liked the goal was good strength from Tanganga to muscle out the defenders, to play it to Son, and when Son's in that position, you know it's going to be a goal. I just saw the highlights. Like Bob, I was very, very happy to see the supporters applaud Saka when he came on. That's a really good touch, because I don't think there are away fans allowed in the game. So that applause was just Tottenham, which
we've set a precedent, haven't we, Brendan? We've set the precedent as well now. There's no reason for anyone. If he's not getting booed at Spurs as an Arsenal player, he shouldn't be getting booed anywhere.
Exactly that. So, because there was always talk that with crowds coming back in, the players will continue to take the knee, that there may be boos going around. I'm praying that doesn't happen at Spurs. I still think that perhaps the international audience is probably different to the sort of club team audience, the Premier League audience. I can't see the knee getting booed at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I think it would get spotted and people would call it out. But anyway, going off on one there, it was good to boss it, and I watched a bit of Arsenal Fan TV as well, which is always good when we do the goons. And The Voldemort guy.
What are they making of their pre-season, Brent? Voldemort.
I just watched it when just a couple of clips. Troops was going mad. I know he's not AFTV now, but Lee was like, "Yeah, they bossed it. They Spurs wanted it more," and these were all the things that we were saying when we last played Arsenal about them, because they did us and they wanted it more. They were the better side. They should have done us. It was 2-1 in the end. They should have done us about a couple of more goals. And so again, it's pre-season. It's more about fitness than it is about the result. But positive signs.
Not against Arsenal. Not against Arsenal. No, it's no friendly, mate. Against Arsenal, no chance.
Some of them fouls going in. It definitely. We're lucky we came out of that with no injuries. To be fair,
that's it. Yeah,
there's definitely a definite step up in intensity compared 100%. To previous matches. HG, you've been very patient. Your view?
Well, this is it. So I only saw about 20 minutes of it, and it was the 20 minutes that Arsenal were dominant, I think, at the end of the first half. So I'm happy that we were good when I wasn't watching, because I want to see Spurs win. But look, it's tough. I can't really make any comment on the game because I didn't see much of it. I saw the chances we created. I trust everyone's word. They saw the game. They know more than I do. But it's good. These are good signs. And I should say, I quite like the fact that we played Chelsea and Arsenal in pre-season. I realize that we play Chelsea and Arsenal pretty soon in the league. The Chelsea game is relatively early. But if we want to get some kind of intensity, then why not? Why not look at when the fixtures come out in the middle of June and basically see, well, which London team hates us? Are we playing last? And then have a pre-season game against them. It was good for, obviously it was good for the charity that was involved, but it's good for Spurs. I think it should help us in our game for City on Sunday, because I don't know who City's last. They had the Community Shield, didn't they? So but I think it will help us. We're going to be more ready for Sunday, having played Chelsea and Arsenal in 4 days, than we would have been had we played, someone like Villarreal or a foreign team.
Yeah. I think that's a fair point. And building on to that, I suppose, is an overall picture of our pre-season. So, Bob, we've gone from, I would say the sublime to ridiculous, but no, we haven't. We've gone from a mess to less of a mess. I think it's fair to say in the pre-season. So obviously there was all the dilly-dallying around getting a manager in. Nuno's obviously only had the team quite a small amount of time really to do much with them pre-season, and even then it's been obviously, like every team, interrupted with the internationals, but we've had Kane to contend with, which that's got to be unsettling for the squad, hasn't it? Having Kane, messing around and all the rest of it. But I suppose my question is, how confident are you from what you've seen pre-season that Nuno knows what he's doing, and absolutely we can look forward to the season with a degree of optimism?
Well, I think we'll see more of an identity and a set way of playing under Nuno in the friendlies than we saw under Jose Mourinho's tenure. I really do. We were looking indecisive. We weren't sure how we were going to play. Front foot, back foot, holding on deep. We never had an identity under Jose, whereas Nuno, we can quite clearly see we're going to play the high press game. We're going to go back to the Poch peak Poch areas. But the biggest thing for me is the fitness level. I mean, I know the Chelsea and Arsenal are still friendlies, but mate, we even after going 1-0 up against Arsenal, we never looked like conceding. Why? Because we were always at the front foot. Sonny was out skinning people left, right, and centre. Lo Celso came on. Yep, he was a sub, but he showed a bit of knit and grit about him that we've not seen for a while. And Steve Bergwijn and Lucas always had legs on him. So the stamina's really come to the fore. Even the likes of Skip as well. He was up and down that midfield. Had another great game. Played like a man now. Yeah. So I think we can see slight hints of what Nuno's bringing to the team. Obviously, the personnel is going to change once we start bringing in more quality players. But I think there's an identity and certainly an increase in fitness level under Nuno, which is absolutely fantastic.
Shannon, would you agree with that? Nuno's starting to put his stamp on the team, and you can see the fitness level shining through. How sort of optimistic are you about the season coming? I think there's a fair point Craig Bowler's just mentioned in the chat, we got schooled by Chelsea. In the first half, we did get schooled by Chelsea, didn't we? Yeah. So we can't lose sight of that with one good performance, perhaps against Arsenal.
I mean, yeah, we did get schooled by Chelsea in the first half, but then the attitude to come back and score 2 goals against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge when we had none of our fans there. Yeah, they took off a lot of their good players, but they still have enough squad depth for us not to be playing against lower opposition. It was a step up from Colchester and MK Dons, and I can say that because I'm from Colchester and I've grown up watching them as a kid. So it's a huge step up to play them and to show the kind of spirit, and we weren't seeing that under Jose. Let's be honest. How many times were we behind and we were like, that's it, we've lost. I think we came. It weren't a lot. We came back from winning positions. I think the first game we came back from a winning position was against Southampton when Ryan Mason was in charge. So it's promising. I know we can't take too much from it, and we did get scored against Chelsea in the first half, but we were the much better team against Arsenal. And we, as much as we all hate Arsenal, they're not a shit team. They're all right. They were pretty much full strength yesterday, apart from a couple of players. So it's definitely promising, but I think we'll know where we are more, and we'll be able to see more after the first 6 games of the season, because it's going to be tough. That first 6 games is definitely going to be tough, and we'll know where we're at by then, I think.
The second half against Chelsea as well, Shannon. I know Chelsea didn't make that many changes, and I think the fact that we conceded a goal against Chelsea kind of overshadows how good we were right from the off in the second half against Chelsea, even when they hadn't made changes. So, we scored the goals, but there's nothing to suggest to me that we wouldn't have scored it eventually, because we were schooling them, and not schooling them, but we're certainly the better team in the second half, and essentially we won the second half 2-1. But and I think maybe that kind of just the fact we conceded a goal kind of clouded the fact we were much the better team in the second half at Chelsea with no fans. So
I agree with that. I definitely agree.
We sat here 20 minutes ago and said that results in pre-season don't matter and it's all about the fitness. We're 2-0 down to Chelsea, and it's a pre-season game. Why bother? Just knock the ball around and get some confidence. But no, we wanted to try and score goals, and that means something. Yeah. It has to mean, yes, they're trying to impress the manager, but still, the fact that we did it, if it was a league game, I'm pretty certain we wouldn't do that. So it's nice to get some kind of belief back in those players, because for the last 18 months, they've had most of their belief knocked out of them by their manager. And so we've got one in who might be, who will turn things around in that respect.
Yeah, absolutely. And I had my dad on an interview yesterday. If you haven't seen it, it's up on YouTube now. Giving his views. Big up, Dad. Giving his views on Wolves and Nuno, and very complimentary. Thinks we're in for a good season. So stick with it. Let's take some chat. Oh no, I haven't come to you, Bren. How could I not do that? Rate our pre-season out of 10, Bren.
Out of 10, I suppose it 3 wins and a draw. As was pointed out by Craig, we were abysmal against Chelsea in that first half. 7 maybe out of 10. I do like Nuno. I'm really warming to Nuno. He's really calm, measured. I've been impressed with him so far in his press conferences. How much can you make from the games that are pre-season? You don't know. It really will start next Sunday. But I'd say 7, 8, and I'm starting to love Nuno.
Well, I think there's a lot to love about Nuno from what I've seen so far. Certainly the way he's sort of held himself in interviews and things like that. I think we're all looking at a good pre-season, and hopefully that will continue into the first game. I'm just looking for some. If you see some comments you want to shout out, HG, go for it.
All right. There's one here. We haven't really mentioned his name at all this season. But Pau Torres is a Spanish left-footed centre-back who's I think he plays with Juan Foyt at Villarreal. He's highly rated, and he's got a left foot, which seems to be super important amongst centre-backs that we need. So Pau Torres, I don't really know if it's an option. We've been linked with so many centre backs. Milenkovic was one of them. There's the guy at Wolfsburg, Maxence Lacroix. I like Lacroix a lot, but
he's
again,
good,
he's a good player, but he's right-footed. Would he play on the left? I think there are lots of things, and we're sitting here. There's 3 weeks until the end of the window. We could be sitting here in 2 weeks, having made maybe one signing, and I think that last week we might see a whole number of changes. It's going to take a while to get what we want, but I do think we're going to try and do as much as we can in this window. I mean, that's great because when have Spurs done that? We're actually going to try and change things up and make things a lot better, and we're going to try and do it straight away. And I'd rather see that. I really would. Pau Torres is an option, but I don't think it's one that's. But I haven't seen anything to help me think that Spurs are looking at him.
Just sorry to jump in. Sorry, what foot does Connor Cody use? Is he left or right footed? Because like we were saying, Wolves want to sell a marquee signing to generate funds for new signings. The Traore thing's not going to happen. I don't think they're going to let Jimenez go. So Connor Cody could happen. What side? I don't know what foot he plays with though. Do you know?
He's right footed.
Yeah, I think he's more right-footed. Yeah,
okay.
He is. Yeah, he's right-footed. Just looks. He's on the. I mean, he plays in a 3. He was crap in a 4 as well. So if we're signing him for a 4, that'd be a disaster. But yeah,
would he be poor alongside of Romero? I mean, I was anti, a bit like yourself. I was anti Cody for a while, but then I thought, you know what? With the leadership qualities he's got, his loud mouth, he'll constantly. Give out instructions as well. Maybe Romero would benefit from him and vice versa. I don't know if it's such a bad idea, I know he struggled last season, but he was playing alongside very average defenders. Bowley, was it? Or I can't remember.
Bowley, yeah.
Yeah, so, I don't know, mate. If it came back, I'm surprised we didn't go for Milenkovic. A, because his quality, and B, would have pissed off West Ham. I certainly would have loved to go for that. And 14 million, I think, even if we went 15, 16, and let's be honest, we're 10 times bigger club than West Ham.
I always like Milenkovic. Surprised we didn't go for him. What seems a bargain price. And Anderson as well. Well, I guess, is Anderson a right-sided defender at HG?
He's right-footed, but I think he's one of those ones like Maguire that might prefer playing on the left. I mean, and they had Tosin Fulham last season, and he was right-footed, and the two of them made a decent pairing, or certainly 2 of the 3 that they played. Yeah. But you could have had Milenkovic and Anderson for about 35 million, right? Yeah. And here we are thinking about spending that again on. I still think the club is hoping that Koundé comes, that he becomes an option for us. Yeah, I find it strange to believe, but I think that he hasn't left Sevilla. And if he does want to go,
everyone's been priced out so far, including Chelsea. I mean, I read 75 million quid they wanted, or million euros they wanted for him.
The difference there is that Sevilla they don't want Kurt Zouma, and they do seem to want Sanchez, and so that gives Spurs a little bit of an advantage. But if Koundé doesn't want Spurs, it doesn't matter. I'd be surprised if he does, but I think that maybe Paratici is thinking, well, maybe we wait, and we'll see. Because if we got Koundé and Romero, it would be fantastic. There's no doubt about it. Is it a gamble I'd be willing to make? No, it's not. Because I just don't think that Koundé will ever be that interested in playing for Spurs. But there are some centre-backs that have already been sold, as Phil has said, that, it may well have done a job for Spurs. But, that goes almost every position. There have been some good signings made. Another guy who went to Palace, the attacking midfielder Olise, is a quality player and would have been really good for Spurs because it's that kind of player that we need. There's lots of things going on.
I don't want Koundé.
Pop man as well. You don't want Koundé? Why?
He's already turned the stand publicly.
Yeah.
No chance. No. Not coming over here for the money, mate. I'd rather spend less money or even more money than get someone who wants to come here. When you've publicly said no, I don't want to. He's got every right to say no to Spurs because he wants to play for a Champions League team. That's absolutely fine, no problem. But to come out and say no, my ambitions, and he literally meant Tottenham. Nah, sorry, mate, you can't change your mind now because we're not qualified for the Champions League. Piss off.
Yeah.
Piss off, Bob. Botman, also another player that I've seen us link with him as well. Bren, you shaking your head?
I thought it said Batman. I'll be honest. We may need some superheroes in that defense, so I'll be all for Batman coming in, but I've no idea who Botman is. HG.
I saw him score. Well, it wasn't an own goal, but the opening game for Lille at the weekend, he went to clear the ball and it hit the attacker's foot and looped over the keeper and went in. And he had this kind of the look of resignation that we've seen on so many Spurs defenders over the years, that he might fit in quite well. But yeah, again, it's a one-season player. Like, he was at Ajax but never really played for them. Lille bought him because of a loan year he had in Holland. Yeah, I don't know. I think that Paratici is going to look at players that either are Italian or have played in Italy. I think that's going to be the first choices all over the shop, really. So, yeah, it's possible, but I don't think Botman. I mean, Lille are in the Champions League this season as well. It doesn't make much sense for him to go anywhere. I think he'll play the year out and then look at his options next summer.
Well, one that's been eternally linked with us, Skriniar. Obviously, Inter Milan, stuck for cash. Could happen. Could it not, Shannon?
I just think it would have happened by now, wouldn't it? We've been linked with him for so long. I think if we really wanted him, I think we'd have got him by now. Yeah,
but I don't think we wanted him. I think Mourinho wanted him. I think now that Mourinho's gone, I don't think he's really on the list for Spurs anymore. I think Paratici wants a different kind of defender. He's certainly a different defender to Romero. Romero's much more mobile than Skriniar is. Skriniar is your I don't want to say big lug, because that does him a disservice, but he doesn't appear the most mobile, whereas Romero likes to follow the defender, likes to follow the attacker and keep the ball at his feet. So, yeah, I don't think Skriniar is an option. I do think that Inter are in massive trouble. I think those rumours are very true. There's a left-footed centre-back there called Bastoni who could make his way to Spurs, who's also, I think, 21 or 22, so super young. But I just think that it does appear that we want someone more experienced to go alongside Romero. I'm not sure who that would be, but I don't know. There are so many rumours flying around, and Spurs, even if they don't sell Kane, are in a relative position of strength.
I mean, Skriniar's been linked with us since God was a boy, so I'm not going to hold my breath on that. Holly says thoughts on Ndombele. Should we stick with it? Holly, I've been after Holly to come on the show for so long. Hi, shout out, Holly. We discussed it, Holly, and I think the long and short of it was, I didn't say stick or twist, I suppose. Bob, you'd sell him, wouldn't you?
Yeah, end and bye-bye for me.
End and bye-bye. Shannon, sell?
Yeah, I'd sell him.
HG?
No one's going to pay the money that we want, so if he leaves, it's a loan.
Brent?
So no, just someone said I was boring and monotone in the chat. It's just
really?
I don't know if it's ironic. I don't think I'm boring and monotone. I think I'm boring, but monotone, I don't know. What was the question? Sorry.
Tanguy Ndombele, would you sell him? You monotone?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, get out! Like I'll sell him tomorrow. Seriously, is that we're back on Tanguy? Is that where it's gone? Okay, yeah, go.
How dare you offend by Brendan? Look at him. He's fired up now. He's ready to go. He's
sweating.
not happy. How many gins are we on now, Bren?
I don't know, but the bottle's pretty much gone.
The bottle.
Have you got any snacks on the go there? Because I've been slagged off for my snack choice recently.
I live in an Indian area of London, so I've gone for spicy cashews, but
yeah,
I don't want to sit here eating. It's not the cinema.
What's your favourite nut? What's your favourite nut?
Probably cashew. I'd say Brazil nut but no, cashew. I'll go with cashew.
Yeah,
cashews are good. And what about you, Bob? What's your favourite?
Pistachios, mate. Bit of work involved in it. Pistachios, but yeah, it's worth it, mate. It's worth the work. I love pistachios.
Shannon, favourite snack? I mean, you've been slagging me off all day for liking, It was last time it was kettle chips or what did you say? A lower tier snack.
Bottom tier snack. HG completely mocked me earlier, saying I've got the taste buds of a 12-year-old.
No, that was Caller who said that, wasn't
me? Explain why I said that though, yeah?
Okay, well, it's got to be either chipsticks, pickled onion Monster Munch, or pickled onion Space Raiders, and I also had Malams for breakfast this morning. So
well, hence my comment. You do have the taste buds of the 12-year-old. What's your snack tonight? You got something there, haven't you?
I've got chipsticks.
Yes, chipsticks.
Beautiful. HG.
Well, what I'm eating now, since Brendan's called me out on it, I've got some coconut cookies that are really not very good for you, but they're Dutch, kokoskuchen, and I really like them. As opposed to savoury snack, I like any crisp pretty much, as long as it's not salted. Boring salted.
Not kettle chips, not salted.
Yeah. No, I mean kettle chips are just like they're sold as being fancy, but they're just super hard. I don't get it. Like, it's like, they're extra crunchy, but crisps are crunchy. Like, it makes no sense to me. It's just someone who's trying to say, I've got a big brand. Look how fancy I am. Kettle chips are just no.
It's so not me. Look at. I've got a big brand. Look how fancy I am. That is just not like me at all.
Yeah, not like you at all. Yeah.
Where does the word kettle chips come from as well? What's the kettle's function?
Isn't it Portuguese? Isn't it Portuguese for shit? I think it is.
Probably. Yeah.
No, there'd be some literally some fancy fucking like Brendan.
I found them behind the kettle. Therefore, they are kettle chips.
There are as hard as a kettle. Please, someone in the comments find out why they're called kettle chips.
And mango chutney poppadoms, those sensational ones.
Oh, they're good. They're good.
Thank you. They are good. I sent it straight to Shannon and said, this has got to be tier 1. And I got back, no.
Should be made illegal, mate. Should be made illegal.
By the way, I'm loving the chipstick love in the comments as well. Big up the chipsticks, as Bob would say.
I realised today I should just talk about food on my Twitter because I got far more engagement when I asked what's your favourite curry to the Twitter sphere to a question like, who would you buy as your next centre back? There's far more engagement. Yeah, Bob, what's your favourite curry, mate? What would you go for?
My favourite
curry. What would you have?
Oh, it's homemade, mate. I make the best curries in the world. They call me Gordon Ramsay. That's how good I am. Lamb and potato curry, mate. It's got to be lamb shoulder. Slow cooked 3 hours. Yeah, man.
That does sound good.
Big up the lamb and potato curry, mate. Yeah.
Bren, I've just got time to find out what your favourite curry is before we go. What is it?
I go for a mix. I go for like the tandoori mixed grill with like a good butter chicken. Butter chicken doesn't sound spicy. It's not overly spicy, but it's really flavourful. So that'd be my 2.
What I'd say to everyone watching at home, firstly, subscribe, like, and share. But secondly, follow Brendan on Twitter. What's your handle on? Is it at Brendan McGurty?
B McGurty, yeah.
B McGurty. Because Brendan is the Brazilian barbecuing sensation. He does think he is like Ramsey, and he has like huge cuts of. If you're vegetarian, it's probably not for you. I'm going to be honest. But like the one time he sent me a picture, he had a whole cow in his back garden or something, and
that was for something else. Sorry, that was wrong.
Satanic party, probably. I don't know. And he does barbecue so many different cuts of meat, things you'd never heard of. Didn't you have some like heart or something the other week?
Yeah, chicken hearts. Chicken hearts are the best thing in the world. Chicken hearts.
And if people are just tuning in, it is a football podcast, please.
Absolutely a football podcast. It is absolutely a football podcast.
To go back to football quickly, caller, I have this for you.
Yes. All right, I'm going to give it a go. Kavicha.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is that? Kravata Sheila.
You're just going to spell it Ericsson now, aren't you? This boy is a footballer, right? He's a Georgian footballer who apparently we've been linked. Who said he's quality?
I didn't. I was seeing him on YouTube, but
tell us what you know, Bren. Tell us what you know.
Scored a beauty of a volley and shaggy hair. That's about it.
So basically, he's Sissoko with Brian Hill's haircut because he scored a volley. Technique way better than Sissoko. Maybe not as good as Brian Hill, but looked the part. I was impressed. But again, it's YouTube, so.
I mean, yeah, that is.
Can you imagine everyone on Facebook and Twitter trying to spell that? They struggle enough with basic names.
You're not going to get it on autocorrect. By the way, we've sold the kettle crisps cooked in an implement called a kettle rather than fried.
There you go. There's the answer. I knew there'd be some
Big up Sam Fisher.
Logical explanation to that. Can you get that off the screen now, HG?
Yeah, let's just say I hope that his middle name doesn't start with K as well.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
I don't want to see any. I don't want to see any GLCs and PEHs, and then suddenly, especially if he plays down the right-hand side, we definitely don't want that.
Just gonna mute him in a minute. Bob, thanks very much for coming on and joining us again. Everyone watching, you need to go over and check out Bob's TV on YouTube. The channel's really good. Bob's content's great. Thanks for joining us, Bob.
Always an honour. Like I say, gentleman's agreement. I was going to turn up today, so I have. So, yeah.
Absolutely, you did. You didn't let us down. Shannon, thanks again for joining us. Fantastic to see you in the cheese room again.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and I look forward to my fight on Friday that I seem set up for now. Absolutely.
Brent, good to see you, mate.
Cheers, mate. Yeah.
Will you just do us a favour?
Yeah.
Make some pods, will you?
Yes. I was going to say there will be a pod out tomorrow for those that are waiting for that. So it's only been a week. We did the Paul McVeigh one was like Friday week. So it's been 10 days. So
there you are, name dropping again. This is Sandra.
Celebrity Paul McVeigh.
You just can't help yourself, can you? It's all gone to your head. HG, as ever, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, no problem. Enjoyed it as ever.
And look, we've got a great show for you Friday, so do come back. We're going to be previewing. I mean, the season is nearly here. I can't believe quite how excited I am, if I'm being really honest. We're going to be at the stadium in under a week, Brendan, having it large, having a few beers, watching the Spurs get beat, probably, but I won't care as long as we're back there and enjoying life. I think that's the most important thing. Yeah. I'll take that as a yes. Yeah. Come on, you Spurs!
Come on, you Spurs!
Come on,
Brentford!